Hey guys, Spin Pixie here, and today I am redoing the To Know, To Will, and To Dare, and To Be Silent video. There's a reminder that silence is golden. So I am redoing that video because what happens is that iMovie failed, and sometimes when you delete a scene from your movie, the video goes, but the audio does not. So it ended up being a jumble of me. So I did not find this out, of course, until I had erased the original footage and uploaded it to YouTube. And so I was watching the playback on the camera roll, and this is when I discovered the fiasco that was. So here I am redoing the video, which is fine, because I have additional information and such that I'm going to be reading in this video as well that I did not have. So Dury from The Witch's Lair sent me this photo, and I'm going to put it up as I actually read from it, so that you guys can see it. I'm going to talk today about what it is to know, to will, to dare, and to be silent, and all the many interpretations of this adage. And I'll be talking about Thelemic beliefs, or Golden Dawn beliefs, Ancient Time beliefs, Wiccan beliefs, or general pagan beliefs, and then I want to get your guys' perspective as to how this all pertains to those of us on YouTube. And have we really come far in this, being able to spread, to each other, trade our recipes and whatnot via YouTube, and having a community? Have we come far in doing this, or, could this possibly set the tone for something really tragic if, in the doomsday scenario, we continue to lose our freedoms? Because there are still countries in this day and age, wherein if you are accused of practicing witchcraft, you're banished from your village or you are killed. Just things are still happening. I mean, the burning times, even if the accusation of witchcraft carries the penalty of death in some countries. So, I mean, the burning times, those times are not over for the entire world yet. So, and then I wanted to also go over, in that vein, in that particular area of subject, is a YouTube community a detriment, or is it a savior, I guess, or saving grace in the community to have these ladies who teach and who try to educate about the craft? So I wanted to get your take on all of this, especially if you are a sort of go-to teacher in the craft, either if it's on YouTube or in real life, dealing with people on a one-on-one or a class basis. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started with the photo that Dury sent me. And Dury is again from The Witch's Lair. Check them out. They're really cool people. They do a weekly witchy chat on Wednesday. And they are really cool people. And I was hoping that they would do this topic at some point, because I would love to get a debate going about this particular topic and what it all, what it means to different people. And keep it friendly, people. No drama. No drama. We don't need it. So let's go ahead and put this picture up on the screen so that you can see what I'm reading. To know, associated with the element of air. The spiritual journey is one of knowing. We must be constantly learning, questioning, and expanding our horizons. We must know ourselves before we can know our true path. Okay, so this is very, very true. I mean, if you're not learning, then you're stagnating. If you're stagnating, then where are you really going? So this is very true. To know is not only to know your beliefs, but to know yourself and why these beliefs are yours, to continue learning, to continue asking questions, because asking questions is what births learning. So definitely very true, very believable. Okay. To dare, associated with the element of fire. Courage is needed to grow. Dare yourself to step outside of your comfort zone and face the unknown. Daring, I have differing beliefs on this one, because I really mostly associate will with fire, but it'll be interesting to see why they associate will with water, most likely. So, but I associate it with fire because to me, will is the driving force, the inertia that propels you on, and that is a very fiery thing to me. To will, associated with the element of water. Have determination and perseverance. Read, study, follow your intuition, and practice. Learn to focus and concentrate. Be conscious of what distracts you. I think that will is, for me, this is where it starts to differ, so I'm just going to keep going, and then I'll go into my thoughts on the subject afterward. To keep silent, associated with the element of earth. This has nothing to do with educating people. Learn the value of the inner silence. Recognize that sometimes the unspoken word is more important than the spoken word. Do what is necessary when needed, then shut up about it. Park your ego at the door. This is also a reminder to never out a witch. Which, to me, harkens back to the Burning Times, about outing a witch. But I'll get into that in the next one. So that is an interesting take on the witch's pyramid, I guess is what they called it. I have some differing beliefs. I've been told differing things, and we're going to get into that. And then I'll go into what I found really fascinating, which is what Eliphas Levi, who is a French occultist, had to say about that in his book Transcendental Magic. So that's one interpretation. I was told by an elder, probably when I first started practicing, or when I first started studying, I should say, that this saying, to know is will, to dare to be silent, basically she broke it down as that to know is to know yourself, to know is to make sure you know what you're messing with, make sure you know your craft, know the herbs you're using, because especially back in ancient times, you can easily be killed by the herbs that you're using if you use the wrong ones. This is also a reminder to never dabble in witchcraft. If you do that, you're asking for trouble. To will is to have the driving force, to seek the knowledge, the desire to learn, to practice, to read, to study, and to grow as a person. To dare was to not only take that a step further and dare to cast your circle, dare to step into the elements of the craft, to dare to be, to do, to act upon what you will. And then to keep silent was to shut up about what you're working on, and never, back in ancient times, it was never really discussed outside of your coven or outside of your solitary practice what you did. And also, as it says in here, to never out another witch, because that is a betrayal that is worthy of death. And you could have gotten somebody killed back in ancient times. So that is something that I really wholeheartedly believe in, because you never know. If you tell the wrong person, and you happen to be telling, like, let's say a Scientologist or somebody who's very intolerant of other religions, then you can really be setting up trouble for that person without meaning to. So that is a betrayal worthy of death, especially back in ancient times. So then, my personal beliefs has a little in here, and then also is largely a part of what my elder told me back in the day. And my personal beliefs are, to know is to know yourself, to know that you are strong enough to handle what you're about to embark on, to have a strong foundation as to who you are as a person, so that way that can carry over to you having a strong foundation of knowing who you are as a witch. Because if you don't know who you are, then you can be led astray or manipulated or taken advantage of, or you can be practicing something that really you end up, finding is not really for you. So to know means a lot of things, and it also means to know your herbs, to know your runes, to know your divination, to know, to keep on learning, to keep on questioning, to keep on going in a perpetual way, to grow yourself as a witch and as a person. To dare is to take the knowledge, take those first steps on your path, to begin to start communicating with your elements, to begin to start taking that study that you're doing and start putting it into action. To dare to be a witch is to dare to cast your circle, dare to invoke your gods and goddesses, dare to cast a spell. To will, and to me, is to have the driving force to seek out that knowledge, to collect the data that you need to grow yourself as a person, to have that driving force to cast a spell and to feed it as necessary, to charge it, and then to put it into action, to will yourself to have the courage to call forth and make the elements come into action to work for your service, to honor your gods and goddesses, to have that will, that drive, that propels you on as you grow and learn who you are. And then to keep silent, obviously it means to never ever out another witch, to not talk about your workings. It's not ever a good idea to show every card in your hand. There are a lot of teachers on YouTube here that are very giving of themselves and very forthcoming with knowledge, but it is always a good thing, and I'm sure they do, to keep something for yourself. There are certain witches on here who show a lot of their practice, but they also keep separate spaces that no one is allowed to see, because that's for them, and that's as it should be, especially if you're very forthcoming and giving of yourself, because YouTube is a vast knowledge, but at the same time, you don't know who you're teaching, you don't know who your workings are going out to, and magic is in the hands of the witch, it's the lightness of it, the darkness of it, the protection of it, the manipulation of it, that is all determinant upon the witch, not the teacher, So that's one of the things that keeping silent is to know what is, to know what's okay to talk about, and then to know when to not talk. And it's also, could be a project, like if you're working on something heavy duty and some sort of project that you're working on, you don't really want anyone else's energy, anyone else's fingerprints on your little nest egg. You kind of want to have it grown and come to fruition before you let others in on it. So it may be not a forever thing, just while you're getting things off the ground before it takes flight, then you want to be silent about your project, about what is to be. So that's what it means to me. And I'm going to take a sip of water, if I can get it open. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is throw an interpretation at you from Eliphas Levi, who was a French occultist back in the, I want to say 18 or 1900s. It was like way, way, way back in the day. And Aleister Crowley, who he derived some of his teachings from Eliphas Levi. So I wanted to read some of this, what his idea is as far as what to know, to will, to dare, and to be silent is. So Eliphas Levi wrote a book called Transcendental Magic, and this book spoke about what it is to know, to will, to dare, and to keep silent. And he talked about these things, these laws, as the laws of the Magi. And he spoke of these in great depth in this book. So I'm going to go ahead and read from my notes. This is I took this from something that I read online, which quotes Levy's Transcendental Magic. So I'm going to go ahead and read this. You are called to be the king of the air, water, earth, and fire, but to reign over these four living creatures of symbolism, it is necessary to conquer and enchain them. He who aspires to be a sage and know the great enigma of nature must be heir and despoiler of the Sphinx, his human head in order to process speech, his eagle's wings in order to scale the heights, the bull's flanks in order to furrow the depths, the lion's talons to make way on the right, on the left, before, and behind. And it goes on to say, the Sphinx is a composite creature having the head of the man, the torso and front paws of the lion, the backside of a bull, and the wings of the eagle. It symbolizes the synthesis and synergy of the four powers represented by the four living creatures of symbolism. He further goes on to say that the elements are imperfect creatures that are not scaled to human existence. So in order to make them act, we have to call them into being and to call them into action. And he gives them names represented by the zodiac. Taurus, the bull, for the gnomes. Leo, the lion, for the salamanders. The eagle, for the sylph. And the sign of Aquarius from the Undines, or for the Undines. So basically this is calling upon us to be the Sphinx, to be able to process speech, the things that we say, the things that we hear, the things that we read, all that kind of things, to be the eagle that flies on this path that we take, to be able to see things from above, and then also to be the lion's talons to make our way on this path, and to be the bull that furrows the depths, to be able to make our trenches, to be able to see things from every side. I think this is a completely interesting take on this adage. These four laws, these four rules, whatever you want to call them, these four sayings of the elements, they're very open to interpretation. But I think at the very root of it all, they all say the same thing. Know what you're messing with, dare, have the will to learn about it, dare to act upon it, and then have the wherewithal to be silent when it is called for. Make your way on this path with these four laws in mind, and you will be successful. I just really have always found this fascinating since I first started practicing. And so I really am excited to bring this up as a discussion, and I really do hope it goes somewhere and is discussed amongst the community. Okay, water time. So, what are your thoughts about it? I mean, how do you think that it pertains to the community here on YouTube, and how do you think it pertains to witchcraft on the internet? Because, I mean, really, the internet has become the best way to learn about any part of the craft that you could possibly want to learn about. So, I'd like to get everyone's thoughts on that. So that's going to do it for this video. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Hopefully, I said everything I wanted to say in this one, because I know I did a good job in the first one, so hopefully in this one I did a better job. So I'll see you next time. Many blessings. Bye.